Who's this? Anybody know? This is Cynthia Case. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because we profiled one of her indicators a little while back. And that indicator got a lot of good feedback. And we also said, too, that that's not the only one she's done. She's done certainly more than one. And several of them make the cut. So we thought we would show you another one sooner as opposed to later. But gentlemen, let's make sure we focus on the indicator and not Cynthia herself, because she's already spoken for. Womp womp. And we also have a bit of a statistical anomaly this week that flies in the face a bit of something I said last week. So stay tuned towards the end of this video for that. But today we are going over the CASE, which is Cynthia's last name, CASE Peak Oscillator. And let us get right into it. But before we do that, if you're new, we do indicator videos like this all the time. We are the premier indicator channel on all of YouTube. We always were. But we talk and we do things a certain way. So if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to you, that's fine. Go to nononsenseforex.com, read that first page, watch that first video, and get yourself started. It's a lot of videos, but it's worth it, I'm telling you. And as many people on here can tell you, the ride there is every bit as fun as the destination, if not more exciting. But for the rest of us, let's get into the specs. The year, 1996, barely within the 1996 and on threshold we like to see here at the Indicator Profile series. The type is going to be a confirmation indicator, and this is going to be another zero cross, even though it's, like, to me, it's really not. I just didn't want to add another category to the bunch. Let's just keep it simple and call it a zero cross. You'll see what I'm talking about, and I personally do not like this as an exit indicator. But as always, I am one man with one opinion. I am not the authority on shit, even though I pretend to be. Make sure you are testing these things in every which way possible. So let's take a look, and you can see what I'm talking about. So this one moves a lot like Laguerre does, to where it's either all the way at the top or all the way at the bottom. There really is no in between. So officially, if it's down here and it crosses and closes above the zero line, and when it does that, it's going to go straight from here all the way up here. It's not like there's some like rogue candle in the middle somewhere. No, it's either here or it's here. Nothing in between. So you could really, get rid of the zero cross if you wanted to, but just for the sake of what we're doing, we have it right here. And but once that happens, of course, that's going to be your long signal. And once it does it going the opposite direction, that will be your short. Now, the one situation you want to avoid, obviously, is something that looks like this. But again, that's where the rest of your algorithm comes in, and it should get rid of a lot of those. It will never get rid of all of them, but it should get rid of enough to where your overall system can really improve on the ROI that this one indicator would get you alone. So there's really not much more to talk about beyond that. Let's go ahead and see the results for this. Now remember, you got to test this yourself. Don't get too caught up in the results you see here. People still, to this day, take these results way too seriously. Understand, when I was doing I guess what you would call the online course portion of this channel, things had to be a lot more black and white. With this, we're showing you things that we like. Please test them yourself and decide if you want to add them to your toolbox or not. The value here really comes in the fact that Dan and I have both been doing this a long time. We've collected a lot of indicators. Some of these are older, some of these we just found. But a lot of them are probably indicators that you have never found yourself, or maybe did, but just didn't really give a second look or didn't take seriously. And that's why we're taking the time to bring this to you. Now, also know that in the description down below, you're going to get the link to my automation blog that has an embedded video from Dan Stone on how to test these yourself in the MT4 Strategy Tester. You're also going to get a link to the Stonehill Forex blog that tells you everything you need to know, the tweak settings that you don't see, the science behind the indicator, the history, all sorts of stuff. You will also get Dan's secondary email address for the one purpose of submitting an indicator yourself that you want to see profiled on this channel. And then, as always, a place to go download this yourself. So let's take a look at how it did, the KPO on the EU. Pretty good. Solid amount of trades, solid starting point, better on the 4-hour, but not a bad start to this one. Let's go to gold. Told you before, gold from this point on should be pretty good, and it really is. I like this amount of trades for one metals pair. good win-loss ratio, which we don't always see. I mean, look down here. Sometimes win-loss on gold has been tough to get. You got a pretty good one here, and nothing to sneeze at in terms of a win-loss ratio. But then again, if this is too many trades for you, this is another one of those situations where we talked about before, to where you can get an ROI like this, which is, if you're upset at that, then I can't help you, and accomplish that in a lot less trades. So you have some pretty good options here, which we really like to see. It's everybody trades different. Everybody likes more trades than others. Some people trade 36 currency pairs. Some people trade more than that. Some people only trade maybe 7 or 8, maybe less. So things like this do matter depending on what you do. So I can't really say if these things are good or bad for everybody. You just have to determine that yourself. Over to the S&P, which has been tough, but this is really good with a crazy high win-loss ratio. I see win-loss ratios like that, even with a solid amount of trades, even though that's not a whole lot. That's enough to where I'm like, really? Like, does this thing repaint? Double check. But no, we're good to go here. Almost 13% ROI on this one. So pretty happy with that. And then the anomaly I'm talking about is, if you remember last week on the PMI video, I said that gold and Bitcoin both made runs. So we should be seeing enhanced results on those, at least for a while. But we're really not getting that on Bitcoin. I expected this after I saw gold to be in like the 30-40% range. Now, again, who's upset at that? Just to start with, I'm not. Solid amount of trades too. But it did not follow gold up in terms of overall ROI, at least from the tweaks that we were able to get. Now, Dan kind of explains why on the blog, if you're interested to know, but this was the one anomaly that I was talking about that I thought was really surprising at first. Ivan said, let's go test it again, just to make sure. And yeah, these are the results we got. Plain as day. So yeah, we will continue to show you different indicators every week that we find interesting, worthy, or both. And we will also keep bringing you the Trading Psychology podcast every Monday, my investment podcast every Saturday, blog on Thursday, most of the time. We will have one tomorrow. And hopefully it gets you set up for as much success as humanly possible. So traders, you know what to do from here. Go get it.